After the way House Targaryen treated Elia Martell and her children, the Martells should never have wanted to ally with the Targaryens ever again. But they did. Elia Martell was treated appallingly by her husband Rhaegar Targaryen and her father-in-law Aerys the Mad King. Whether you think that Elia and Rhaegar had some kind of agreement, some sort of deal worked out where he could go off and get this elusive third child, even if they had an agreement, Rhaegar abandoned Elia to her fate and their 2 children, just left them high and dry, physically and emotionally abandoning them. And it put them in grave danger. Rhaegar goes off, does his thing, war breaks out, and he winds up dead on a battlefield. Elia and her children with Rhaegar, they are then held hostage by her father-in-law, the Mad King. He wanted to ensure that Dawn and House Martell would remain allies with the crown as the rebellion is inching closer and closer to King's Landing. Elia and her 2 children were fatalities in the sack of King's Landing, officially. There is a rumour that her youngest child, Prince Aegon, may have been scurried away to safety. If you've never heard of the young Griff theory, check that out. So how come, after all this had happened, after what befell Elia and the children, how come the Martells still sought out an alliance with the remaining members of House Targaryen? Like, House Targaryen had fallen, but the Martells still wanted to maintain this alliance. Oberyn Martell himself goes to Essos, where Viserys and Daenerys are in exile, and they arrange that Viserys will marry Arianne Martell one day. But why do this? Why continue to be allies with a house that has fallen? I think there's 2 reasons. The first is that Daenerys and Viserys Targaryen were not at fault for what happened during the rebellion and what happened to Elia and the children. The Martells, and Doran Martell in particular, they are smart enough to know that you don't write off an ally. By this point, Aerys, the Mad King, and Rhaegar, they're both gone. Which kind of leads me into my second point, which is that the Targaryens were not the issue. Rhaegar and the Mad King were gone. The main target of the Martells' ire was House Lannister. Both Aerys and Rhaegar massively mistreated Elia and the children, not even just at the rebellion, but the way that she was treated at court, the way that Aerys spoke about her half-Dornish children. It wasn't a fun time for Elia Martell. But it was under the orders of Tywin Lannister that the Mountain and Sir Amory Locke came calling for Elia and the children. Rhaegar got what was coming to him, Aerys got what was coming to him. Doran Martell tells his daughter Arianne that ever since he heard of what happened, the day he was told what happened to his sister and his niece and nephew, ever since that day he has been plotting his revenge, the downfall of House Lannister, and he has been working away silently at this plot all this time. It's the Lannisters who are the real enemy, not 2 children who had nothing to do with what went down. Now, Tyrion may have gotten to Tywin, Varys may have gotten to Kevin Lannister, Joffrey, well, we all know what happened to him, but there's still a lot of other Lannisters around, and Doran Martell, he's not done, because now Doran has lost another sibling, Oberyn, all because of the Lannisters. Oberyn got himself all worked up and he was unleashing this rage that had been pent up for nearly 20 years, and the Mountain gets him. And so for Doran, it's another Martell, dead because of a Lannister. That's his enemy. Daenerys and Viserys, he could use them. Doran Martell is the one. He is a shrewd operator. He makes those political calculations that are not easy to do, but it's for the good of his house. Had the Mad King or Rhaegar survived, now that would be a different story. But Doran is like, okay, let's leave these kids alone. Karma got Aerys, Karma got Rhaegar. Let me focus on the Lannisters. And that's exactly what they've been doing for 15 to 20 years. And I don't think Doran is going to slow down now.